Hey guys, welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
This week we talk about episode 59, Perspective.
Yes.
Good episode.
Very good.
Um,
First one that, not the first one, but the one where they've had a definite, we've got to be out at this time,
Yeah.
Or at least where they announced it from the beginning. And that was because of their Kickstarter and their after party.
Yeah.
Which they did 11.3, almost 11.4 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and we got confirmation on I'm calling it confirmation on my Wormwood theory about Sam's flash message, because it was W. So we've got wood spelled backwards.
Yeah.
So either it's a dick joke or it's a Wormwood advertisement, maybe both. All three are possible from Sam.
Yeah. We got 4 weeks before we know for sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them I think were a little off their game.
Yeah.
Because it was Kickstarter night.
Yeah.
And Joel was there.
And they're all big fans there. They're all Misties.
And the alcoholist. I'm blaming Brian Foster.
Yeah, he was probably making some strong drinks too.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah. But if I'm going to blame him for distracting them, I think I might have to also credit him for getting Ashley ready.
Okay.
Because she was much more on it.
Yeah.
Than in the past.
Yeah.
And we finally know for sure what she got at 8th level.
Savage Attacker.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I'm wondering if Yasha will ever switch to a great axe or a maul. The reason I wonder is because mechanically, D12 weapons are better with brutal critical than 2d6 weapons.
True.
But Savage Attacker helps her more with the 2d6 weapon.
Yeah.
So, but it also helps when you roll at d12 and it comes up crap.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna re-roll that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look forward to what she has in store for us. Also, well, I guess we should start in order how we normally do. Maybe.
Sure.
When I was going through and making my notes, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do round by round breakdown of the combat of each combat, and I didn't do all of that.
It looks like you got about halfway through round 2 of the first combat.
Yeah. And I was like, this is not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work this week. But I was like, they were short combats. We can probably do it. So yeah, but we were right. Mm-hmm. Last week we said that the Giants were pushed there.
Yeah.
And that they would find that out somehow, either through sifting through their corpses or negotiation.
Yeah.
And they opted for a negotiation.
Yeah. And I said Caduceus would probably try to speak to them.
Yep. Also, I kind of want to... Another win I kind of want to give us is the Casimir.
Okay.
Because that was one of the demons that I mentioned.
Yeah.
When they were in the City of Beasts.
Yeah.
And as soon when they were debriefing the druid, I was like, oh yeah, I was right. Here it comes.
Yeah.
And its ability actually affected two of them, Jester and Ford.
Yeah, Ford got bent over by that thing pretty hard.
Yeah. We had a reskin, we think, of Bigby's hand.
Yes, Cat's Ire, as we discussed.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed to act like a Bigby's hand. It did force damage. You know, it just lined up with it.
Yeah. The only way we'll know for sure is if he
releases a spell and it's different.
Well,
or admits that it's Bigby's hand.
Yeah, or that he uses other aspects of Bigby's hand.
Yeah.
That he uses the interposing thing.
Yeah.
Of Bigby's hand. Or maybe he took the damage from Bigby's hand, and maybe it has other abilities that we don't know about.
That's true.
But it's sort of the perfect example of what happens when you transition from player to game master, and when you play in someone else's game, just the tweaks and stuff, that you do. So kudos on that.
Yeah.
But we also have Yasha eating the spiders, the spider meat, which I thought was a great scene. And then Matt's like, it's sort of like crab. And I was like, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. For that, I mean, that initial fight where we got Cat's Ire, we, got polymorph into a killer whale.
Yes. And Sam also technically correct that the whale would eventually suffocate.
Yeah. Yes, because their weight would crush their lungs.
Yeah.
On land, which is why they don't live on land.
Yeah, which is why when a whale leashes itself, it dies. So yeah, but it takes much longer than the spell length of polymorph.
Yes.
For that to happen.
And we saw Charm Monster confirming Ford's spell choice.
Yep. And a great use of it. And also an unfortunate use.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't understand him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. I'm trying to think. Right off the bat, Taliesin was on top of things. Like after the episode ended Thursday night. Well, technically, I saw the end Friday morning. I was like, Taliesin's MVP.
Yeah.
And then on my rewatch, I was like, oh yeah, he was earning it early in the episode.
From the beginning.
Yeah. From the insight checks to the talking with the giants, like everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then thinking about it, I was like, am I biased to this? Because, like, through Caduceus, everything that we had predicted that would happen was happening. But I don't think that's the case. I think he genuinely was
definitely the
power hitter. Yeah. Negotiated the druid's help.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. Do we want to touch on the second instance now of Bo and Jester
Bonding.
Yeah. Sure, we'll use that word. It's much nicer than what I was fishing for.
Well, before that first fight, we saw the first hints of Marisha being preoccupied during the game.
Yeah.
She ran and did the parkour thing that she always does, but now that she's 9th level, she can just move vertically up the wall without making the check.
Yeah.
As
long as she ends her turn on a horizontal surface.
Yeah. Exactly. So she could have just run up the wall. We also saw the first instance of her taking half damage when she shouldn't have from an evasion.
Yeah.
Which was a recurring issue.
Yeah.
And she's just, and you said it, as creative director, she's got so many things going on, especially on a night like that, where they've got this other thing right after it and all this stuff. I don't falter on it, but
it was just something I noticed.
It could have turned out way differently if she had remembered those.
Yeah. Well, then to that point in the second fight, the two first demons come up and attack Caduceus.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I was like, Sentinel attack!
Mm-hmm.
For Bo. And I had sort of forgotten that Yasha was there. Even though she was attacked right before then. But I had, so I have a confession to make. Every time I watch Return of the Jedi,
mm-hmm.
every time, and I know, even though I know where his lightsaber is, every time I watch, I'm like, why didn't he just whip out his lightsaber when he's fighting the now my brain's not working.
Rancor.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, when he's fighting the Rancor, I'm like, why didn't you just whip out his lightsaber? Every single time, and I've seen it, I don't know how many times.
And it's in R2.
And I know it's in R2, yep. Every single time. I'm just like, it would be so much easier if he had his lightsaber. But I was sort of like that at this time, even on the rewatch, I was like, why don't you just use your Sentinel attack? And I was like, oh wait, she read it in action, which requires the use of her reaction. Yep. So Sentinel wouldn't trigger anyway, or 6 of one, half dozen the other. But the reaction gives her full attack action.
Yeah.
Whereas Sentinel just gives her one attack.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In that instance, she was more on top of it than me.
Yeah. And, we saw Bo go out and hold Jester's hair and for her when she gets sickened by the spider meat.
Yeah, it kind of makes it that was a good instance of the players sort of taking over the condition, the definition of the condition, where poison is just sort of a catch-all for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Whereas Shadowrun has specific individual conditions for different things.
Different types.
And nausea is very specific.
Yeah.
In that system. So that was a lot of fun. And it's interesting, Laura saying that she uses thaumaturgy to have the sound of birds is now retroactive headcanon for every time that she's had to use the restroom within earshot of anyone else in the group.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, because she doesn't do that. The other thing that happens there in the camp is Ford finds a little secret box.
Yes, which I think was the side quest item to embarrass the guy with.
It is, yes. Interesting things though. So Caleb Costs comprehend languages, reads the letter, okay, and he does detect magic and it's not magical. And he hands it back to her and says, "Yes, it is." And nobody even thought about it. Just
yeah.
That was great. But the letter, And the locket, the locket's got the risque picture of the drow woman, and draw me like one of your French girls.
So there's a couple things with that, from a logistics point of view,
Okay.
that I have for that situation. The first is, why write it in Undercommon
Right.
instead of Elvish? The second is, who painted that picture?
Yeah. Well, and it's signed V.
Yes.
And I was thinking, who is V?
Do you think it's somebody we've met? Because my thinking was it's not someone that we've met.
So, at first I thought yes, and then I thought no, and now I'm not sure. So I thought yes because we have met someone with the first initial of V, and that is Varys, the Bright Queen.
I thought her name was Bayless.
Laylis. Okay. Who is Varys then? Who is Varys with there?
I know I'm on Game of Thrones, so that's the only thing that's coming to my brain. But I think you're right. I think he has named a Varys. But I believe that was... But I don't...
And then I was like, well, they would have recognized her in the painting.
Yeah.
So no. And then I was like, well, it's a small painting, So, I don't know. But who is V? And is that going to come back to something,
My instinct says no.
Okay.
Because from just the side chatter of following that investigation check, it sounded like the DC was 20.
Right.
To find it. And I think it's just something to embarrass the guy with, or put him in check, or change the power dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's of any significance to the overarching thing, other than perhaps V is somebody who Dyron can put pressure on.
Yeah.
Is the only way that I can see it possibly sort of coming in further down the line.
Okay.
And even then, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And presumably she's married.
Presumably.
Or he is married. I mean, one of them's got to be married, otherwise why hide this?
Well, if she's some kind of elite drow, like upper class, in a relationship with a non-drow.
Well, I was going to say, from the Bright Queen, we don't have the indication that that the racism thing would be there, but I could definitely see classism.
Well, yeah, I mean, or if one's consecrated and the other isn't.
That I could definitely see.
So, like if she's consecrated and he's not.
Yeah.
And doesn't look like he's got any hope of becoming.
Yeah, no.
So yeah. And then we head out. They agree. Surna is going to join them.
Yes, in an interesting reaction that she had to the Moorbounders.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a very interesting characterization choice on Matt's part, because usually most people who play druids that I have observed are very animal friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, ooh, that's a potential shape change option. Well, the possible exception to that might be Walnut, but she has very specific reasons to dislike most of the animals she comes in contact with.
Yeah.
So yeah. But we have after the break and on their journey, we have a really good conversation between Caleb and Not.
Yes.
And I think this came from a Talks Machnia.
Okay.
The last time Sam was on.
Okay.
Because on that episode, he asked the question himself. He's like, I don't even know why am I going to be going out with them?
Yeah.
Because it was, I think one of the viewers asked, now that you have Yeza back, are you going to retire to Felderwin? Sort of a thing. Or, what reason does she have to stay with the group?
Yeah. And she asked basically that, she puts it in phrase, am I bad that I jumped at this chance to go when I just got reunited,
Yeah.
And I can see there being the awkwardness. Like she said, he was, happy that she was alive, but if she stays a goblin, what's that going to mean a few months down the road,
Yeah.
Is there going to be that resentment coming up? Is there going to be,
Yeah, and I I'm interested to see how, because Caleb said, well, you're addicted to it now.
Yeah, like all of us, you're somewhat of an addict.
Yeah. Which I wonder if that is going to blossom into anything. Because Sam has not really been playing Not as an adrenaline junkie.
No. But if she swaps alcohol for adrenaline.
Or that becomes her excuse, that she leans into that for not going back with Yeza.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think, she was like, am I a horrible person for leaving him at that strange hotel surrounded by monsters? But leaving him at the hotel was the better choice.
Yeah.
And of course, Yeza was like, no, I'd rather stay here than go out there. And Matt certainly didn't do that. But as in most things, we torture ourselves.
Yeah.
Whether there's cause or not.
This is true. Yeah, so we have that moment, which I thought was great. And with, and the whole, I'm actively not. What did he just say? He said, you're not supposed to be listening. And then we also had a moment which I'm sure wasn't to your taste since you're now on the Widow Jest.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Ford and Jester had a moment.
I actually enjoyed that.
They had this little bit of a talk, and then he gets his potions, the healing potions, and he asks her about, who should get them, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to give you the biggest one, the best one, and, and she's like, well, no, you keep it, I've got spells, pretend it's a spell from me, and then you're making this awkward for her. Because she didn't know where to go, and she's like, I gotta get out of this.
Yeah. Which actually, because I've been watching Game of Thrones, I've been watching Barry, and there's a scene where you're making this awkward. So yeah, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now we have. It was interesting how Matt described the stone giant.
Bran.
Yeah.
Where they're from. That's what they call it.
Yeah. Because I don't even want, apartment complex, I guess, maybe?
I guess.
It
kind of reminded me, how the kind of the way he described it. You know how like in Turkey, there's some towns that have houses and stuff, and then like in the side of the mountain or through the basement, they have like carved like strongholds out of the.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the feel it gave me.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Which is perfect for a stone giant.
Yeah.
Matt was reinforcing that she's afraid.
Yeah.
Do you think Matt doubled down on that for purely RP reasons, or as a means to prod the characters, the players, to action?
I think it was a little of both. You know, I think he needed to prod them because they're like, yeah, we got a giant with us. You know,
yeah,
magic using giant, and no, I mean she's there, but you know,
yeah.
But I think partly it was RP and kind of also as a warning to the players that these things aren't, you know, you're not just going to walk over this, you know, how they found out.
Yeah.
This is a serious threat, you know.
And we got another instance of a rip tear.
Yes.
To the abyss.
To a different part of the abyss.
Yes. And in interacting with Danny Carr on Twitter, I've doubled down on the Tarrasque. And the part of Percival is being played by Caduceus. I didn't want to say that Taliesin is playing Percival because that would confuse people. But in the Arthurian legend, Percival is the one who goes after the Grail.
Okay.
And the dodecahedrons are essentially the Grail. I'm coming to think of them that way.
Okay. So, and see, I kind of had to step back from the Tarrasque. Now, I haven't been interacting with anyone, but so we had the Babau, I think that's how you pronounce it, Babau, which were those three things that were caught between the party and the wall of fire. And those are, I mean, they're demons, and you can find them all throughout the abyss, but they're most specifically linked to Grazd, which is, I also think how you pronounce it, GRAZ''ZT.
Yeah.
He was part of the hierarchy of hell. He was a devil who switched sides because he didn't want to be subservient to Asmodeus, and is now a demon.
Better to rule in the abyss than serve in hell.
Yes. He is all about hedonism. We've seen a lot of hedonism throughout the thing. He's also known... Now, his symbol is a six-fingered hand, but he's also known for his evil grin. Him and Enog, who we've already touched on because of the Knolls, are the ones who are known for their evil smile. If we go back to the Knolls, his symbol was an evil smile, which fits neither of them because it's a six-finger hand or a three-headed flail, you know.
Yeah.
But could be either of them. And they found the Wand of Smiles there in that cave, which not in itself linked to them, but, you know, if you're going with the smiles, you could...
It's an interesting take.
It's a, you know...
Yeah, connection we hadn't
thought of.
Yeah.
The Babau and hedonism, the succubi and the incubi are about hedonism. And I'm wondering if he's going to be making an appearance. and we thought Inagu for a second because of the hunger and stuff, which is one of his things, but hunger can also be a part of hedonism.
The gluttony, yeah. I think...
Now, not that he couldn't be like a mid-level, like the Chroma Conclave, level, and he's serving the Chained Oblivion, which we think is the Tarrasque, who will be the end game.
Yeah. Well, so in my comments to Danny Carr, I sort of solidified something in my mind, that the Tarrasque is not the Chained Oblivion.
Okay.
The Tarrasque is the Chained Oblivion's demigod child. The same thing, basically the same kind of thing.
Uk'otoa to the Cloaked Serpent.
Right.
Okay.
And I think the end goal for the Tarrasque, I think, is when it awakens, is to cause devastation in such a way as to rend the Divine Gate.
Okay. With
the ultimate goal of returning, allowing all Tiamat, who we've already, because
we've already seen her.
Now I think I made a speculation in that tweet thread that I'm going to share here.
Okay.
I think the cult of Tiamat is guarding the other Uk'otoa temple.
Why do you think that?
Because the cult of Tiamat is ensconced on the Menagerie Coast. They would have to have a place safe to fall back to if their efforts within the civilized areas were taken out. And that temple of Uk'otoa is positioned perfectly for that. It's in the mountains near the Menagerie Coast.
Okay.
So, and it's a site of evil power. So, just like we had the Yuan-Ti took over that other temple.
Yeah.
So, the children of the other evil gods are guarding these various temples or repurposing them or what have you.
Yeah.
So, my guess is that it's the cult of Tiamat that's protecting the other one.
Okay, I can buy that.
So, we'll see if that ever comes up. But that's my guess. And I'm waiting to see if we have cultish adherents that the Mighty Nine end up taking out within the dynasty. Because implicit when they told the Den Mother that, hey, this is happening, we closed it, so we've closed 2 rifts for you in this town, and they said it, someone's causing this.
Yeah.
And Ford was trying to ascertain whether or not it was who eventually outed them. That was doing it. We met the traveler. It's almost not even fair to call him cleric.
No,
but
adherent.
Does he come to them with evidence of who's doing it?
Perhaps.
So that becomes the price they have to pay to get Caleb some Dunamancy spells.
Yeah.
Because that's a big ask. And that's the only thing that I can think of that would pay for that kind of access.
Okay.
Short of saving a practitioner's life.
Yeah.
Sort of, I saved your life, now you're going to let me study your spellbook. Which we haven't seen Caleb do yet, although he hasn't saved the life of the spell of a wizard yet.
Yeah.
So, Jester failed in the dispel. Well, so the Casimir.
Yes.
I pulled that out in one of our campaigns as a quick throwaway and a reminder that, hey, there's extra planar shit happening.
Yeah.
Like on top of what you guys are dealing with here on the material plane, the political stuff, there's stuff happening on another plane. So yeah, when Jester failed and went unconscious. Ford failed, went unconscious. And we had Caduceus save his life. Literally.
Oh, no. And here's why I say no. Okay, I know they all made that assumption, and it was possible, but the negated crit, the regular attack, reduced it 22 points, which left him at 38. So if it had been doubled, another 22 points, he would still have a positive hit point max of 16. So unless he rolled the dice and got higher, then yes, maybe. But just if he just doubled it, no, it would not have outright killed him.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
But, I mean, yes, potentially it could have killed him.
Yeah.
You know, if he had rolled higher or rolled more. But if he had just doubled that, it would have left him at 16. Now, at first level, he would have had 12 because he's had an 18 con the whole time and he had got an 8. So, less than second level. Right now, he's at fewer hit points than he had at fourth level. At 38.
Yeah.
Which is an easy one-shot at this level.
Yeah.
It is not going to be hard to just do 38 hit points of damage at this level. We've seen it happen multiple times from player and NPC alike.
Yeah, so
I think this episode was the first time an NPC got it. How do you want to do this too?
Yeah, I believe so.
With the stone giant.
To my memory, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because Matt so very rarely has NPCs fighting with them.
Yeah.
And because the group is so big, they don't need it.
Yeah.
Usually.
I mean, we've had guest stars get it.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we've never had an NPC get it.
Yeah.
Because he started to say it and he was going to stop because it was an NPC. The driver's like, nope, say it, say the words.
Yeah. How does she want to do this? Yeah.
Yeah, and then we go back to realizing it's a greater restoration, and I'm going back to, and they didn't get the diamond dust. To what we talked about last week.
They're going to come to regret not having it. Yeah.
Oh, real quick, can you grind up these diamonds with your jeweler's kit?
So the question is, do they want to give up the potential of needing the raised it or revivify?
Because they have the one diamond for the 500, and then they have 300 in diamonds, which because it doesn't have to be one for revivify.
Yeah.
Do they want to give up a third of that to restore Ford?
Well, to restore his max hit points, and then have to dump
healing in
him. And I believe the hit point maximum loss is only restored on a long rest with the Casimir.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a matter of can Ford stay out of it, which he can.
He can, even if he stay back in Eldritch Blast.
Yep. And Blink.
Yeah.
Which is a favorite of his.
He's got Blink, he's got Misty Step to get away, he's got Eldritch Blast to stay at a distance.
Yep.
Not to mention his, Charm Monster, Crown of Madness, things they can do to take over the other things so they don't attack him.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I thought about touching on, well, in the episode, I was like, he just cast 2 leveled spells in a row. But then I was like, well, no, he used the item to cast 1, and then he cast from himself.
Yeah,
which I think is the workaround.
His misty step is only through the sword.
Yeah.
The Summer's Dance aspect of the fellowship.
Yeah. Which is also an interesting choice of name, because, and I think we talked about this, so stop me if we did.
Okay.
But the Norse parallels of Jorgemund, and so the sword Sumobrander is a Vanir sword. And now I can't remember the exact translation, but it's summer wind, I think, or something like that. It's
right,
very similar to Summer's Dance.
Gotcha. I believe we did back when the sword first appeared.
Yeah,
with Molly. So it's been a while.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's.
But that was back when you were still trying to link everything to the Fae.
Yes, it's true. And the Vanir, you could draw a lot of parallels between them and the Fae.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Trying to think if there's anything else.
What do you think that little jellyfish thing was? Because I was drawing a blank on what that was. At the very end, that reanimated the giant. And then we got another big, creepy smile.
I think that was a narrative choice.
Okay.
I don't think that's necessarily indicative of a particular monster.
Okay.
But my first thought when Matt described this light coming through the wall and going into the body was a will-o-wisp.
See, the way he described it at first, he said something like a jellyfish and just kind of like a blob. And I was thinking of a little pink shape-shifting thing from Treasure Planet.
Well,
and then it went into the thing, and I'm like, wait, what?
For half a second during the episode, I was like, flumps can't go through walls.
Yeah, I thought that in for a second as well. I do like the flump.
But, yeah. And you talking about smiles, I didn't put that together. That he specifically said that the stone giant begins smiling. Now I'm going to have to look. If smiling is going to be a big theme going forward, I wonder how much Joker mythos is going to be entering the narration. But I think, to answer your question, I think that was just an incorporeal aspect of probably that giant's soul coming back and reanimating it. Because we have had, and there are often a link between the abyss, hells, and the undead. Which Matt is now, with the raising of the giant, is drawing a stronger connection with. which will push Caduceus to want to be more involved.
Yeah.
Now, I said that I thought that they would get a clue as to where Caduceus's place is.
Yeah. Well, you said that the Giants might even be the guardians of it.
Yeah. From Matt's narration, that's not the case. But that thing animating the giant might be the clue.
Okay.
And maybe that demon,
Gratz,
might be the one that's at that forge.
Okay.
Or kiln. And it's possible that that kiln is being used by his people to tear these rifts.
Oh. Interesting idea. I like that.
Because Matt hasn't come out and said it explicitly, but to me it makes sense that this kiln, like the volcano from Campaign 1,
right,
is a remnant of the creation of Exandria.
Okay.
And because it is dedicated, it's a thing of the Wild Mother, presumably.
Right.
From what we've learned from Talison's narration and Matt's embellishments on it, it's definitely nature, magic of some kind.
Right.
I'm wondering. I made a joke about the forces of the Chained Oblivion working to make Exandria great again by tearing down the Divine Gate.
Well, wouldn't they be building one? Sorry. At least putting a plaque on one that was already up, saying it's there. I don't know. We'll get off of that topic.
But I was like, because it had sort of occurred to me that the evil gods seem to be trying to get around the Divine Gate, break it down, doing their best
tunnel under or whatever.
Yeah. Where the good deities put it in place and are respecting and don't really try to violate it. So because I touched on the idea that Exandria may be in the astral sea, or built from a god's corpse in the astral sea,
right?
Based on some of the lore that we've gotten about the Loxan and the dodecahedrons.
Yeah.
So to go any further, I think I need more of what's in Matt's brain.
Yeah.
We actually need to know what this kiln is, and I don't think we get that until we're on our way there.
Yeah.
Or they sit down and say, Caduceus, hey, what's this about?
Yeah. And Taliesin included, multiple of them said, it's past time we had a group talk again in character.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things have come out since their last group talk, which was Knott's backstory.
Yeah.
And yeah. There's a lot of people with a lot of things to explain.
I'm going to predict that doesn't happen until Ford has another Uk'otoa dream.
Okay.
And that's probably 3 episodes away. the caveat I'll put in that is if and when they send Yeza back or go back with Yeza.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is going to be weighing on them, or at least on Not.
Right.
They talked about sending them to Nicodranas. Luke and old Edith.
Yes.
But they didn't pull the trigger on that.
Yeah. And they talked about Nicodranas, and they talked about one other place. There's 2 places.
Well, they're in Allfield right now.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on whether or not they think they can get through into the Empire again, and how easily they can do that. Because I don't.
Which will depend on Caleb's teleportation circle choices.
Yes.
Because, when we talked about it, he gets 2 with the spell. And if one of those is in the Empire.
Well, I still think. So it depends on how old the cities in the Empire are,
mm-hmm.
and whether or not they were concurrent with the writing of that book that they got from the Happy Fun Time Ball.
Yeah.
I'm still fairly certain that, well, if I were Matt, I would give them the teleportation sigil for the Fallen City. Because for several reasons. One, as a narrative shortcut.
Yeah.
It gets them there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to travel through all this stuff, and boom, they're there. They're in the mix. The story that Matt wants to tell there can happen right away.
Yeah.
Also, it's a chance to explore what happens around teleportation circles that aren't used.
Yeah.
For centuries.
Well, if he wants to give them a shortcut back to the Empire, that first mission they went on for the gentleman could be a place. Because they didn't explore that whole thing.
It's true.
And that would probably line up with the book. Where the secret keeper guy was.
The designs in the floor were not a transportation circle, but they were conjuration magic, if memory serves, or necromancy.
Conjuration, I believe.
Yeah, which is teleportation.
Yeah.
So, that's an interesting possibility.
That gives
the
them
other
a shortcut back to the Empire,
or
and
Rex
a
and
shortcut,
Trim.
yeah, or a shortcut back to the gentleman.
Yeah. Oh wow. Can you imagine the conversation when Caleb says to Jester, "We can go see your dad or your mom."
Yeah. Or we can see them both. He'd just pick an order.
Fair. It's almost too bad that if they want to go back into the Empire, Jester can send to the gentleman and ask how to contact his smuggling rings.
It's true too.
And then we'll know for certain how interconnected he was and how and where he got that bowl and the sword hilt. If we're right that the blade that she has at the tower there, the library, is the blade for that sword hilt.
Yeah, which my gut says yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It gives them the ability to, they get to the city, have it reforged, and they have their first vestige.
Yeah. Well, first working vestige.
Yeah, okay.
If the dodecahedrons don't count.
I don't think they do.
Okay. I would almost say they do. Although, I guess technically the vestiges are specifically from the war, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were crafted as part of
Yep.
the whole thing. So yeah, I guess technically they would not be, even though they are pre-calamity.
And the other thing about vestiges is they tend to make you better or more in line with whatever God created, that vestige. Yeah. And this operates as like for the community, for the whole religion.
Fair. Although I would argue the once a day luck makes you better.
Yeah.
So yeah, predictions for this next episode.
We'll figure out what that pink thing was.
Okay.
I think they will grind up some diamonds.
Okay.
I think they're going to want to cast the Greater Restoration.
I think Caduceus does have it prepared.
Yeah, he didn't, but because he said, I don't have that prepared.
Oh.
Neither of them had it prepared.
Oh. Well, then there's no point. If neither of them have it prepared...
Unless they can long rest.
Well, long resting will take care of the hit point reduction.
Okay. But they don't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Matt told them it requires Greater Restoration.
Well, that was in context of they were asking lesser or greater.
Yeah. But I think they took it as it requires Greater Restoration.
Oh, okay.
Which, I mean, diamond dust is still diamond, so even if they grind it up, would it still be...
With Matt Mercer, it would still count.
Okay. With Dan Franks?
Probably not. Just because the form is important.
Okay.
And the wording is specific.
Okay.
But I would allow them to cast Mending on the diamond dust.
That was going to be my next question. That would have been my next question. So, yeah, that's what I think. How about you?
Yeah, I think we will find, in some manner, a clue for Caduceus's quest. I think we have an interesting fight, because I don't think it's going to be just a zombie giant.
Right.
I think it's going to be
a demonic zombie giant.
Yeah. And they still have yet to go down into the bone pit.
Yeah.
Which I think is the actual first source.
Okay.
And I think we'll see a Uvula, I think is what it's called. It's like a yellow mushroom demon thingy.
Okay.
And that's a CR10. So that will be a tough fight.
We could also see one of the Ublex, the new demonic like
Oh
oozes.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Matt, yeah, because they could take the form potentially of her fallen brethren.
Yeah.
Uh,
There are several of them that can do that.
yeah. So yeah, we will see you guys next week, and we're gonna go enjoy Ashley and Taliesin, our MVP for this episode, on Talks Machnia.
I guess.